There were nights the power got shut off in my house. The phone got disconnected. My wife didn't know how we were going to feed the kids. And I was making good money. I want to tell you the single most destructive decision I made across 4 decades of my life. It didn't cost me money. Money was never the real thing. It cost me freedom. It cost me sleep. It cost me dreams that never happened. And the crazy part? It was the simplest mistake in the world. My name doesn't matter as much as my story does. I'm in my late 60s. I've been married a long time. I've raised kids. I've had careers. I've lost jobs. I've started over more than once. And for most of my adult life, from my 20s well into my 50s, I lived beyond my means, spending more than I made every single month. Now I know what some of you are thinking. That won't be me. I'm smarter than that. I thought the same thing. I genuinely did. But here's what nobody tells you when you're young and newly married with a couple of kids and a decent paycheck. It doesn't start with one big stupid decision. It starts with 100 small ones, each one reasonable, each one justifiable. And before you know it, you're on a debt wheel so massive there are months you can't breathe. I don't want that for you. So today I'm going to tell you my story, the embarrassing parts, the parts I'm ashamed of, and then I'm going to give you the things I would have told my 20-something self, the things that, if I had actually done them, would have transformed my life. Stay with me. This is going to take about 20 minutes. I promise you it's worth it. Let me take you back to the late 70s, early 80s. I was newly married. We had children young, and I was making what was, for the time, a genuinely good living. Not rich, but comfortable, more than comfortable. And yet, somehow, we were always broke. Let me tell you about the cars. At one point, we had 3 cars and a bass boat. 3 cars! And only 2 of us in the house who could even drive. One of them was an old beat-up Jeep. We'd nearly paid that one off, fine. But the other 2? Brand new, both of them. We were making payments, paying insurance, buying gas, maintaining all of it. And I would get bored. I would get tired of one of those new cars, sometimes after 8 months, and I would trade it in. Brand new car, 8 months old. And of course, when you trade a car in at 8 months, you lose a mountain of money on that transaction. But I didn't really process that. I felt good because I had a new car. I did that more than once. We ate out constantly. And I don't mean my wife and I sneaking away for a quiet dinner. I mean the whole family, all the time. 4 people, restaurant after restaurant. We had food in the house, good food. That would sometimes spoil in the refrigerator because we'd go out instead. I bought my wife new clothes constantly. Not because she needed them, because I think somewhere in my mind I believed that if we looked like we had it all together, Eventually, we actually would. We didn't. There were times the power company shut off our electricity. Times the phone went dead because the bill hadn't been paid. I'd stand there in my nice car, in my nice clothes, completely humiliated, calling my mother to ask if she could help us. My mother. More than a handful of times my mum bailed us out of problems I had created with my own hands. I want you to sit with that image for a second. A grown man with a job and a family and nice things calling his mother because he can't pay the electric bill. That's where living beyond your means actually takes you. Not to some dramatic collapse, just to that phone call, that conversation you never wanted to have, that look in somebody's eyes. And here's the thing I've spent years trying to understand. Why did I do it? I think some of it was trying to manufacture happiness in a home that didn't always have enough of it. Some of it was trying to prove something to people I went to high school with, people who probably weren't even thinking about me. Some of it was this lie I told myself, the way a gambler tells himself he's just one throw of the dice away from winning. I was just one car away from feeling good about myself, one vacation away from peace. One new couch, one new TV, one new jacket away from finally feeling like enough. That feeling never came, not once, because it doesn't live in things. It never did. And the debt just kept growing, and the wheel kept spinning, and the freedom to breathe, to take a month between jobs, to not panic when the electric bill arrives, that freedom disappeared, slowly, and then all at once. That's the cost nobody calculates when they're standing in a showroom or swiping a card. Not the number, the freedom. I can't give you one clean moment where everything changed. It wasn't a lightning bolt. It was more like exhaustion finally winning. There's only so many years a person can keep running on a hamster wheel before their legs just give out. And somewhere in my 50s, later than I should have, I'll be honest, I just stopped pretending the next thing was going to fix it. I looked at what we actually had, not what we looked like we had, what we actually had. And I started learning something I wish someone had forced into my hands at 22 years old. Minimalism. Not the aesthetic kind, where you live in a white apartment with one chair. I mean the philosophy of it. The question it forces you to ask every single time. Do I need this? Or do I want this? And if you want it, fine. But are you getting it at the expense of what you need? Because that's where things fall apart. That question alone, if I had been asking it in my 20s, would have changed everything. I also made a decision that I carry to this day. I will not carry a balance on a credit card. I use them. I pay them off every month. That's the rule. No exceptions. It sounds small. It is not small. Interest on revolving debt is one of the quietest thieves in the world. It just takes a little bit every month, forever, and you forget it's happening. I stopped letting it happen, and slowly, things got lighter. So, if I could sit across from my 20-something self, or from you, wherever you are, here is what I would say. Lesson 1. Get a budget. Today. Not this weekend. Today. I know, you've heard it. Everybody says it. Financial people, parents, articles on the internet. And I ignored it for decades. Here is what a budget actually is. It's a piece of paper where you write down what's coming in every month and what's going out. That's it. It takes an hour. Maybe an hour and a half if you keep remembering subscriptions you forgot about. And you will, because we all have them. I do this now. I know exactly where I stand every single day, and I can tell you, the anxiety that used to live in my chest every time the mail came, gone. Because there are no surprises when you know your own numbers. The only reason not to have a budget is that you're afraid of what it'll show you. I understand that fear. Look anyway. Lesson 2. Know the difference between what you want and what you need. This is minimalism at its core, and it's not complicated. You need shelter, you need food, you need transportation, you need utilities, you need healthcare. Everything else, and I mean everything else, is a want. And wants are fine. I'm not telling you to live like a monk. I'm telling you to be honest about which category something falls into before you spend the money. When I was buying my wife a new outfit every week, was that a need? No. Was it even making either of us happier? No. It was noise. Expensive, debt-creating noise. If you have money left after the needs are covered, spend on the wants. Enjoy it. You've earned it. But if you're funding wants by going into debt or by skipping the electric bill, you have a problem that another purchase will not solve. Lesson 3. Build a cushion before you buy anything else. 3 to 4 months of living expenses in a savings account, sitting there, doing nothing. That money is not for a vacation. It is not for a new phone. It is for the car breaking down, for losing your job, for the medical bill nobody planned for. Both of those things happened to me, the car, the job, and both times I had nothing set aside, not a dollar, which meant every crisis became a catastrophe. If I had had 4 months of expenses saved, those moments would have been stressful. Without savings, they were devastating. Build the cushion first, before the new car, before the vacation, before any of it. Lesson 4. Accumulate as little debt as possible. I'm not going to debate new car versus used car with you. I'm not going to argue renting versus buying a house. Those are real conversations with real nuance. What I'm talking about is simpler. Can you pay the electric bill? Can you pay it without borrowing money, without calling your mother, without stealing from next month to cover this month? If the answer is no, the problem is debt, and the solution is less of it, period. Every loan you take out is a claim on your future freedom. Every monthly payment is a wall between you and the life you could be living. Some debt is unavoidable. Most debt is not. Lesson 5. The little choices matter more than the big ones. This might be the most important thing I'll say today, so stay with me. Living below your means is not really about the big decisions, the house, the car, the vacation. Those happen a few times in your life. It's about the small choices you make every single day. The $5 coffee every morning when you have coffee at home. I did that for years. Do the math on $5 a day over 5 years. It's not a small number. Eating out because you don't feel like cooking when there's food in the refrigerator that's going to go bad. Buying something because it's on sale, not because you needed it. None of these feel significant in the moment. Stacked on top of each other, repeated week after week, year after year, they are the difference between freedom and the debt wheel. I know this because I lived both sides of it. The small choices are where the life is. Choose carefully. I want to tell you about my parents for a minute. We weren't wealthy growing up. I never thought of us as poor, but I think my parents had known real hardship. Their own childhoods were harder than mine. And they carried a discipline from that, a seriousness about money that I somehow missed entirely. When I was between my sophomore and junior year of high school, my dad made a decision. He left his job. He and my mother picked up the whole family and moved back to Arkansas, back to where their families were, with the intention of starting their own business. And they had the money to do it. They had saved enough to live for a year while they built their house and got the business going. I think about that now. They had a year of living expenses saved. They could walk away from a job, uproot a family, and start fresh because they had prepared for it. I couldn't have survived a week. Not a week. They had vacations, not Disney World, but real vacations. Christmas was good. We were taken care of. And they did all of that while building something underneath them, a floor, a cushion, a foundation. I didn't understand what I was watching. I should have. My parents didn't talk about budgeting and minimalism. They just lived it. And I watched them live it for 18 years and still managed to go out into the world and do the exact opposite. That one still stings. All right. I know this video has been heavy. I'm not going to apologize for it, but I know it has been. Here's what I want you to actually do. Not think about doing, actually do. First, if you don't have a budget, write one today. Not tonight, today. Sit down, write down what comes in, write down what goes out. 1 hour. You'll see things you didn't want to see. Look at them anyway. That's the beginning. Second, this month, not next month, pick one debt and put extra money toward it. Not all your extra money, just more than the minimum. Your credit card, your car, whatever is costing you the most. Add something to it. Let that feel like something. Third, this year, make a plan to flip the equation. Right now, you're probably spending more than you make, or close to it. Make a plan, even a rough one, to get to a place where you're making more than you spend. That gap, however small at first, is freedom. That gap is sleep. That gap is being able to say no to a job you hate. I got here eventually. Later than I should have, but I got here. You can get here earlier, much earlier, if you just start today. Thanks for spending this time with me. I hope some part of it was worth it.